Okay, good day everyone. We are back in Lamplight City. I realised we hadn't read the bloody I'm moving about casebook. There, got it in the end. Current case: the Belonged Progeny. Charles Harris, infant son of the heir to Harris Construction Company, has been kidnapped. Who did it, and where did they take the child? Or did I read that? Oh no. Speak with Arthur Devins at the Harris Construction Yard. Speak with Mr. LeFay, the moneylender. Learn about Linda Walker at the Specter Society. Loose button. A single loose button found in the baby's crib. It comes from Barney, the child's stuffed bear, not found at the scene. Stubs from the local horse racing track with yesterday's date on them. Mrs. Davis says she was drinking tea in the living room around 8:30 p.m, then passed out and was awoken 2 hours later by Mr. Harris. Heard the sound of smashing glass. What? Let me read that again. Mrs. Davis says she was drinking tea in the living room around 8:30 p.m, then passed out and was awoken 2 hours later by Mrs. Harris. Heard the sound of smashing glass. Okay, I'm not sure about that ending sentence there. Perhaps it's just meant to be. Perhaps it's not meant to be a continuation. Maybe they're just saying, "Oh, who cares?" Oh yeah, that's a terrible English note. Okay, so here we go. Dupre scandal shocks Gascoigne Society, or Gascon, or something they said. Madame Laura Dupre, the Gascoigne Grand Dame, reported to have died 2 weeks ago, is in fact alive. Details emerged after a police investigation that Dupre was made to appear dead and almost buried alive. In a shocking turn of events, it was discovered that Madame Dupre had been torturing her servants, even going so far as to keep one locked in a hidden room. The servant unfortunately died. Dupre was arrested for manslaughter and will stand trial in the coming months. The suspected assailant, Albert Martin, will be released with a full pardon. Public opinion has quickly turned against Dupre, with many claiming that she got what she deserved. A signed confession given by a Guy Dumas, but police have been unable to locate him. Protests at the airship yard continue. The public unrest after a disaster of the HMS Leitchia shows no sign of slowing, as protesters continue to line up outside the gates of the Harris Construction airship yard, currently in the process of building the Leitchia's sister ship, the HMS Lenore. Fucking bloody phone, it's getting in the way. Fuck off. Harris Construction took out the contract several months before that crashed. Clyde Harris, owner of Harris Construction, said while the sonic disaster was a most unfortunate accident, it should not be taken as any indication that the steam technology is in any way dangerous. The fact remains that airships are among the safest means of transportation. To halt the construction of Lenore would symbolize a setback not only to our cultural prosperity, but new Breton financial prosperity as well. Harris long criticised his apparent and continued on page 8. Prime Minister's re-election campaign intensifies. Prime Minister Herbert Atwood is making no secret to his desire to be re-elected this year. The leader of Conservative Party has begun his campaign, promising to focus on bettering quality of life in Vespuccia by embracing new technology advances and implementing automated workers in factories to reduce overcrowding and reliance on child labourers. Liberal Party leader Hart Leroy has blasted outward, saying his plan will only increase the already staggering amount of unemployment in New Brunswick and other cities. Leroy has also accused Atwood of purposefully delaying the construction of Gascoigne Colo-Mollendary Bridge, whatever. The peoples will only believe in the lack of funds for so long before they start realizing the truth. Atwood and his cronies just want to keep the riffraff out, Leroy said, continuing on page 6. Sabotage blamed for brewery explosion. The explosion at Haskins Brewery last Thursday has been determined a case of sabotage, according to new police. Originally thought to have been caused by faulty machinery, the investigation turned up remnants of a crude explosive device hidden inside one of the tanks. The explosion did not kill anyone, but caused several employees to be injured, and the brewery to be shut down for several days. When asked to comment, Chief of Police Reginald Snelling declined naming any suspects in the bombing, but did not rule out the possibility of the Redites being involved. We have some information at present, but not enough to make any official determinations. Rest assured, those responsible will be brought to justice, said Snelling. Haskins Brewery is best known for producing Bollingworth Ale. Okay.
Addie?
What do you need, dear?
Let's have a look.
You weren't kidding about business picking up. You're averaging what, about 3 appointments per day?
More like 5. I told you, debutante ball season's busy.
Doesn't it get tiresome?
Not really. You'd be surprised at the sort of gossip I hear from my clients. I don't know what it is, but they just open up to me and tell me all kinds of personal things. You sure you don't want me to give you a trim?
Fine for now, dear. Thank you.
I see where she's going there.
I'd forgotten how good you are at écarté. You absolutely destroyed me the other night.
As I recall, you used to hold your own pretty well.
We should have another match soon. That way I can hone my skills.
Yes, we should. As long as you can concentrate, I'm sure you'll get as good as you used to be.
I can't believe the nerve of that narrow-minded old cow.
Who, Mrs. Delacroix? She's actually one of my nicest clients.
I don't know how you
Jesus.
tolerate her. If I were you, I'd strike her off my list.
If I did that for every one of my clients who thought the same as her, I'd be out of a job. That's just the way it is.
Maybe so, but it doesn't make it any less infuriating. Have you ever heard of a group called the Specter Society?
I think I had a client once who mentioned it. There's some kind of spiritualist group, right?
So it would seem.
I don't really know anything else about them, sorry.
How are things going with you?
I'm a bit worried about some rumors I've been hearing.
Oh?
They're saying it won't be long before automated hairdressing devices are available to the public. Once that happens, it's going to be tough for me to keep getting jobs.
Automated hairdressing devices? How would those even work? Do they read your mind?
Doubtful. More than likely they'll have some kind of settings or just give everyone the same type of hairstyle.
I wouldn't worry too much, Addie. You're the best hairdresser in town. I doubt people will place their trust in some contraption over you.
You underestimate my clientele, Miles. They're mostly all rich socialites whose hobbies are buying the most expensive and modern things just to outdo their peers. They'll be sending their servants to line up for days before the things are released.
Perhaps, but they'll come running back to you once the machines stop working. You'll see.
I certainly hope so.
I'll let you get back to your book.
Fair enough. Okay. Right. Well, let's.
It's been so long since you used that desk. Did you even notice when Adelaide got rid of the chair?
Oh yeah. Okay. Oh, we did hear that before.
Get some things done.
Give my regards to Constance.
Right. Okay. So let's start with the Specter Society.
Too dark to tell what's inside. They must enjoy the somber atmosphere.
Oh, whoops. I actually wanted to read the sign, but don't look like you can. 325.
Yes, may I help you?
I'm Miles Fordham. I wanted to ask you a few questions. I'm interested in joining. I'm not interested in joining, but perhaps that would get me inside.
Hello, ma'am. My name's Miles Fordham, and
I'm not
I'd
going
like
to do
to ask
that
you a
one.
few questions.
Are you with the police?
No, I'm a private investigator.
I'm terribly sorry, darling, but I simply don't have the time right now. Perhaps if you come back next week, I'll be able to answer your questions then.
I'm
This is
interested
the
in
Specter
joining.
Society, right? I'm interested in joining.
Ah, yes, it is. Welcome, darling.
What?
Our membership process is a bit different to most social clubs. We require a sponsor.
Sounds simple enough.
Well, you see, we ask that sponsors be people who have passed on into the spirit world. Once you name your sponsor, I will attempt communication beyond the ether. When they answer, you will be judged and considered for membership.
Are we going to use our Bill? Use Bill. What are you looking for in a sponsor? I've got a sponsor.
I've got a sponsor.
Excellent. What is the name
Bill.
of your sponsor, darling?
Bill.
Bill Legere is my sponsor.
Seriously, Fordham? I thought you knew better than that.
Bill Legere. Very well, I will attempt to communicate with him.
She can do this all day. It's not gonna work.
I'm sorry, but I'm having trouble communicating.
Oh.
Perhaps you can come back and try again later.
See? Told you.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Oh, hello again. How may I help you?
I'd like to name a new
I'd like to name
sponsor.
a new sponsor.
Yes, of course. Who is your new sponsor?
Make up a name, Jonathan Davis. Who is that? I recognise Davis, but I
Jonathan
don't.
Davis is my sponsor.
You knew Jonathan? He was such a kind man. Yes, I can feel his presence, and it speaks positively of you. Please come in, Mr. Fordham. I am Angela Maxwell, the founder of the Specter Society. Welcome.
Okay, forget that I was a private investigator. Ignore that.
May I offer you some refreshments? Some water or tea, perhaps?
You're very kind, but I'm afraid I must decline right now.
Well, please let me know if you change your mind.
Would you look at this place? It's like a candy store for psychics.
Yeah, let's start having a look, shall we?
Those are some creepy twin girls. I could see a passing resemblance to Miss Maxwell, actually. There's quite a few members in this group.
Okay, what we got? 19th, September 19th, number 2 signatures. Okay, Angela Maxwell, Monica Brown, Sophia Shaw. I recognise that name, but I don't know why. Thomas Gilbert, recognise that name as well. Linda Walker. Oh, Linda Walker is who we've come here to find out about. Oswald, no, Arnold, or Showald. No, not sure. Randall Faulkner, Henrietta Davis, Edward Lestrange, Cynthia Wilkins. I recognise a lot of those. Comments. Angela, the meeting was wonderful, Cynthia. Anyone interested in used spirit board, please let Thomas know. Thank you. Linda, looking forward to hearing from you over at the manor next week. Come around 8 PM and you can meet Charlie. Oh, Henrietta. Please ask the spirits to cure my son's illness, Sophia. You're not going to say anything about that? Okay, interesting.
I think I've seen one of these before. What does it do?
It's a spirit board. We use it to contact spirits, and they in turn spell out a message with the letters on the board.
I've got a message from Miss Maxwell if she ever tries to use a spirit board around me. Ooh, spooky. That ghost between the two people almost manages to look convincing. That's probably the storage case for the spirit board.
What a fascinating device. Exactly what does it do?
That is an Etherometer. It's designed to pick up vibrations from the ether and translate messages from the spirits.
Yes, we saw one of those in the past
A
case.
great man once said to me, Bill, you aren't going to get very far in life just staring at balls. He's dead now. But then again, so am I. I never much cared for all that mystic stuff. Why should your life be dictated by a bunch of cards?
Members are free to borrow books as long as they can check with me
It's nice
first.
of Miss Maxwell to let people borrow her books, even if they are all just a bunch of nonsense.
Okay,
Coming from me, that's really saying something.
so what have we got here? We got Secrets of Astral Projection. What? Metempsychosis. The Art of Seance. Terrors of the Deep, the Giant Squid. Voodoo in Mediums, Gateways to the Spirit Realm. What Lies Beyond the Veil. The Mysteries of Spontaneous Combustion. Secrets of Tarot. Spirits and the Aether. Okay. Oh my god, I didn't realize you could actually read these. Astral projection refers to the willful out-of-body experience in which the soul or astral body disconnects from the physical body and may travel throughout the universe. The practice dates as far back as the ancient civilizations, with multiple depictions of the Egyptians of the soul, or Ka, leaving the body before death. I don't know if that's how you pronounce that. The expression of astral projection means journeying to other worlds, heavens, hells, and astrological spheres and other imaginable landscapes, but the term is also applied to non-physical travel around the physical world. Though the usage continues to be widespread, the term etheric travel, used by some later theosophists, offer a useful distinction. Some patients say they visit different times and or places. Etheric then is used to represent the sense of being out of the body in the physical world, whereas used to represent sense of being out of the body in the physical world, whereas astral may connote some alteration in time perception. This etheric body is usually, though not always, invisible, but is often perceived by the experiment as connected to the physical body during separation by a silver cord. Some link falling dreams with projection. I'm not going to pretend I understand that, but alright. Other experiments may describe a domain that has no parallel to any known physical setting. Environments may be populated or unpopulated, artificial, natural, or abstract, and the experience may be horrific or neutral. A common physical belief is that one may access a compendium of mystical knowledge called the Akashic Records. In many accounts, the experimenter correlates to astral world with the world of dreams. Some even report seeing other dreamers enacting dream scenarios, unaware of their wider environment. Oh my god, there's more! Metaphysico, from the Greek meta, expressing change, and psyche, soul, refers to physiological idea of transmigration of the soul at the time of death. That is to say, the reincarnation of a soul in another human or animal. It is thought to have originated with Orpheus in the 6th century BC. Orpheus proclaimed that the body and soul were two separate entities chained together in life. Upon death... Oh, shit. Look at this. Look at this picture. What the fuck is happening here? I guess that's his body going into the cat? Anyway, where was I? Upon death, this bond was dissolved and the divine soul was freed from its corporal prison. However, until the soul attained absolute purity, it was fated to continue with the cycle of reincarnation. Deeds done in a life would affect the soul's purity and determine how much longer the spiritual journey would go on before ascending to heaven. The theory postulates that the soul of a human or animal would be transferred to another living being. Some characteristics or personality traits of that soul are usually preserved throughout reincarnations. for example eye colour, or an affinity towards a particular person or item. There is some debate regarding the exact nature of the transfer of souls, but it is generally accepted that a human soul will transfer to an animal which is already alive. A soul belonging to an animal or human transferred to a human will enter a body or at birth, and not one which is already alive. Therefore, it can be useful to confirm a suspected reincarnation if the date of death and birth of the old and new bodies is the same. One popular believed case of metamorphosis comes from medieval Germany, where two feuding families both met their ends. The last one line was suspected of setting the other's stables on fire, during which the other perished. Soon after, a white horse took up residence at the surviving family's estate. While out riding, the estate caught fire, and the horse and the rider ran into the flames, killing both. It is said that the horse was reincarnation of the murdered heir come back to seek revenge of his killer. Fair enough. What's this one? Oh, seance. Conducting a seance is not a matter to be taken lightly. When making attempts to contact those in the spirit realm, many precautions must be observed. The spirit medium must be in a relaxed state prior to commencing the seance. This can be achieved through meditation, prayer, or medicinal means. An agitated medium will have an extremely negative impact on the quality of the seance and may even attract violent spirits. During the seance, the medium will act as a vessel for the spirits and pass on messages from the deceased. In some instances, a spiritual board may be used. These are flat tablets, typically made of wood. On the board are a number of symbols, pictures, letters, numbers, and/or words. The board is accompanied by a planchette, French for little board, which can take the form of a pointer on 3 legs or magnifying glass on legs. A most basic board would contain simply the alphabet, whatever country the board is being used in, although it's not uncommon for whole words to be added. The board is used as follows: one to all of the participants in the seance. Place 1 or 2 fingers on the planchette, which is in the middle of the board. The appointed medium asks the question of the spirits with whom they are attempting to communicate. Okay, it doesn't actually say it, but I know you're supposed to say goodbye when you finish using the board, because otherwise the spirits get angry. Or some bollocks, I don't know. Terrors of the Deep, Giant Squid. The Giant Squid, or Archivicius. Yeah, that's exactly how that's said. Is one of the many terrors of the deep. It's never been seen by humans, and all evidence of its existence has been found washed ashore, or in the belly of a squid's natural enemy, the sperm whale. Researchers have theorized the giant squid can grow as large as 175 feet, or 53 meters. Beaks and tentacles have been found in the stomachs of whales, and some bear the scars and marks of suction cups. Artist depiction of the giant squid. I do know that there is supposed to be, stuff that we haven't discovered, because it lives so far deep in the ocean that we haven't been able to explore it. As to whether it's a giant squid or not, the giant carnivore has a torpedo-shaped body. It moves quickly through the ocean by using a jet of water forced out by its body by a siphon. The beast has a beak-like mouth powerful enough to snap a steel cable in two. The tentacles extend far beyond the length of its body. Features several suckers, each surrounded by several tooth-like projections. These suckers are able to latch onto other creatures with a terrible death grip, so that even creatures that are like the mighty whale are brought down with relative ease. A first-hand account appoints an encounter with what is thought to be a giant squid is provided by Benjamin Roberts, first mate aboard Athia? Sure. It was close to dusk. We were just off the coast of Madagascar when the lookout directed us to the source of a terrible bellowing from the port bow. Breaching from the depths was the Leviathan, called the sperm whale, clearly in distress. Upon closer inspections, we noticed the poor beast was being smothered by gargantuan arms, the likes of which I had never seen. A panic erupted among the crew, and several began shouting about sea beasts and krakens. Meanwhile, the whale continued its fragile struggle. I could not help but feel pity for the creatures as its haunting cries echoed through the air. The captain ordered an immediate change of course, and we were soon on the way, leaving the whale to its horrid fate. Okay. Jesus, this is all this video is going to be, so I apologise for that. Anyway, voodoo. The religious practices commonly known as voodoo originated in Africa, but have been seen a migration in recent years. First moving to the West Indies, it spread after the revolt in San Domingo caused a wave of escaped and freed slaves to migrate to Vespuccia. For years, the religion was practiced in secret but emerged as a more widely accepted faith after abolition of slavery in 1840. The largest concentration of practitioners of voodoo is the city of New Blet, particularly the borough of Gascoigne. Though it is at its root an African religion, voodoo has evolved in New Blet, heavily influenced by Catholicism. New Blet voodoo has adopted several Catholic saints and turned into a hybrid religion unique to the city. One key factor which sets the voodoo apart is the use of charms and amulets of various functions and purposes commonly known as gris-gris. Or grai-grai, maybe? I don't know if you would pronounce the S there. Grai-grai? But perhaps it's gris-gris, I don't know. Also originated in Africa, used mainly as a means to ward off evil spirits and bad luck. However, they have taken darker connotation in the voodoo practices of New Blet, and can also be used to bring misfortune and suffering. Common types of gris-gris, or gree-gree. The basic gree-gree is always contained in a leather pouch, and ingredients vary depending on desired effects. Sketch of a commonly used gris-gris pouch. For instance, gree-gree, designed to bring a gambler luck, would contain chamois, red flannel, a shark's tooth, and a dove's blood. A grai-grai, for sending away an enemy, contains items like gunpowder or red pepper. Usually the person's name is written in paper and included in the bag. To bring someone bad luck in business, the gris-gris would contain chicken bones and graveyard dust. Fair enough. Mediums. Communication with the spirit realm is most often achieved via the help of a medium. A fairly common practice employed to communicate with the dead is the seance, in which the medium tries to establish contact with the dead in the presence of a small or medium-sized group of people. The general opinion is that the greater amount of energy provided by living beings will establish a stronger connection to the spirit world. A medium is someone who can speak to the dead. Two types exist, mental and physical. The mental medium tunes into the spirit world and relays messages by sensing or seeing spirits. The physical medium is able to produce manifestations of spirits, aberrations, knocks, bell rings, etc. by using ecoplasm created by their bodies and their bodies of the seance attendees. No one is exactly sure how the ability of mediumship is attained. Some claim to have it from birth, while others attribute it to near-death or other traumatic experiences. Illustration of a medium channeling a spirit. Whether a medium can see spirits or only hear them depends greatly on the level of skill as well as the natural attunement to the spirit realm. Some mediums claim that an increase of this attunement is possible through practice and study, while others insist that it cannot be taught and is something that you either possess or not. What lies beyond the veil? To those whom would claim that what lies beyond the veil is only madness, I ask you, is it madness to gaze upon the fact of the others, those who can provide us with cosmic knowledge of the ones who came before us, where we are headed, and what purpose we serve? Look beyond. Remove the blinders of logic and reason and embrace the unknown. For here is where the truth ultimately lies, not in some rigid textbook. You must open your mind and attune your senses in order to perceive what is really there, for beyond the veil lies all. I don't usually give my opinion on stuff like this, but just to throw it in there for shits and giggles. I do not like the idea of removing logic. However, when it comes to things in space, you do have to remove logic. For instance, the idea that somebody in space can come back younger than somebody who lived for the same amount of time here on Earth. Logically, it's like that doesn't make sense, but it's just one of those things that you have to accept. So whilst I don't like the idea of removing logic, there are reasons when you should, or not reasons, there are occasions where logic just doesn't factor in. Now, with that said, religion isn't really something I have any interest in. To a degree. It's not as easy, it's not as black and white as that. But anyway, recently I was speaking to a dear friend who had lost her mother just a few months prior. She told me that in the days following her mother's passing, she sensed a shift in energy in her home and a benevolent energy. She became convinced that her mother's spirit was reaching out from beyond the veil, and why wouldn't she? Death is not the end of our beings. We may shed our physical bodies, but our souls are eternal. While we have not yet mastered the ability to communicate, I'm not trying to dismiss this. I just... anyway. We grow closer and closer each day. Our friends are loved ones who have passed beyond the veil and into the ether have as much of a desire to speak to us as we do to them. With them. This is why the spirit mediums are such valuable aids. Without them, we would be lost. Many are skeptical, and with good reason, but the mere fact that mediums exist should be proof enough of whatever higher power created us wanted us to ensure that we were those among us who could bring the bridge gap between the living and the dead. Again, I don't agree, but I don't necessarily disagree. Oh wait, what's this one? Spontaneous combustion. The spontaneous human combustion is a highly controversial subject, but remains popular among scholars and aficionados of the occult and unexplained. The term refers to death from a fire originating without apparent source and external ignition. The fire is believed to start within the body of the victim. The 1823 book of medical jurisprudence states the commonalities in recorded cases of spontaneous human combustion, including the following characteristics. The victims are chronic alcoholics. They are usually elderly females. The hands and feet are usually fall off. The fire has caused very little damage to things around the body. The residue of greasy and fetid ashes is left behind. An illustration of two men finding a victim of human combustion. That still looks like things are on fire, which goes against this. Most physicians and investigators strongly believe that spontaneous human combustion is a product of alcoholism. So I don't doubt that this exists. I do believe this does exist. As for how it happens, don't know. Maybe it is alcoholism. I mean, it would make sense. Alcohol is quite... But it's not overly flammable, is it? I mean, obviously, if you were to, like, tip a load of alcohol out and put a match on it, it'd you know, catch fire. But to actually combust a human... Really? I don't know. I say I do believe that it does happen. I do, even if it's, you know, it's very, 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 very rare. But, yeah. Anyway, Secrets of the Tarot. Okay. We've only got two here. The Magician and the Lovers. How about this one? Well, this is going to be a long part, but it is only going to be these books, so sorry about that. I will put like a little thing at the beginning of when I start reading these, perhaps. I say perhaps. I will be putting something. I mean, perhaps I'll put it at the beginning of me reading it, or beginning of this part. I don't know. The Magician. The central figure depicts someone with one hand pointed towards the sky while the other hand points towards the ground, as if to say, as above, so below. This is a rather complicated phrase, but its summarization is that Earth reflects heaven, the outer world reflects within, the microism reflects the macroism, Earth reflects God. It can also be interpreted here that the Magician symbolizes the ability to act as a go-between between the world above and the contemporary human world. On his table, the Magician also wields all suits of the tarot. His symbolizes the four elements being connected by this Magician. The four elements being earth, water, air, fire. The infinity sign on his head indicates the infinite possibilities of creation with the wheel. The Magician is a representation of pure willpower with the power of elements, and the suits he takes the potential innate in the fall of molds on it into being the power of desire. He is connecting force between heaven and earth, for he understands the meaning behind the words as above, so below. That mind and the world only reflections that one another. Remember that you are powerful, create the inner world and the outer will follow. The Lovers. In the Lovers card, the man and the woman in the image are being protected and blessed by an angel above. The angel depicted here is Raphael, the angel of air, who is the same element of the zodiac sign that governs this card, Gemini. Air is associated with mental activity and communication in particular, which is foundation for healthy relationships. His blessing seems to give this card a sense of balance and harmony, the symbolization of union in a grand and cosmic sense between the two opposing forces. The primary meaning within the love is harmony, attractiveness, and perfection in a relationship. The trust and the unity that the lovers have gives each of them a confidence and strength, empowering the other. The bond that they have created is very strong, and it can indicate that the two are joined in marriage and other close and intimate relationships. Another meaning behind the Lovers is that the card is a concept of choice, a choice between things that are opposing and mutually exclusive. This could be a dilemma that you need to think about carefully and make the best decision to your situation. The spirit and the ether. The ether, which is to say the outer void, is the primary channel through which spirits can travel and communicate with the living. This unseen dimension exists in conjunction with ours, but can only be accessed by people gifted with the sight or special communication tools. The most common tool for spirit communication is the Etherometer. Okay. When spirits wish to communicate, their messages enter our dimension as vibrations, undetectable except for by the aforementioned people and tools. The Etherometer reads these vibrations and translates them into sounds or words, which the medium can then interpret. Spirits expend a great amount of psychic energy when they communicate, which is why most of their messages must be received via this tool. If a spirit is able to harness a great deal of energy, however, it is possible for them to cross over as a physical manifestation or apparition. While this is slightly less common, there have been several documented cases of apparitions throughout history. With the emergence of modern ferrotype technology, it is impossible to capture images of these apparitions. Unfortunately, the long exposure times necessary to produce these images means that it's difficult to capture a spirit, as they move quickly and are often only visible for seconds at a time. However, as this technology develops, it will surely be possible to capture ferrotype images in a matter of seconds, thus greatly increasing the probability of capturing an image of a spirit. Unfortunately, spirit photography is easily faked, and many fraudulent examples have arisen. Due to this, it has become increasingly harder to prove the real instances of spirits captured. Once again, the lowering of exposure time will make much more difficult to fake. It'll be interesting to see where leaps in technology will take us. Okay, well that was a lot of reading. I'm not going to carry this on because, as I say, you may not have wanted to do all of this anyway. So I'm going to not do anything extra in this part. We will do the rest of this in the next part. But that's all for tonight for me, because my throat's starting to get a bit... So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed. Have a good day, everyone. Hopefully speak to you soon. Bye.